So there's Ludlow, and we're off Ludlow. It's called the Off Ludlow Gallery. It used to be the post office. That was Alexander. Here it is. It's open, even though we're not having our talks. Unfortunately, canceled upcoming events, but we're still open. There's a few people in there maintaining social distance. And let's go in. Thank you, Alexander.
No problem, young man.
Okay, first we have Ann Leader, who I know from the Cincinnati Book Arts Society. I love her work. Everyone in Book Arts is great. We do books, but we come from a really wide variety of backgrounds. People do calligraphy, fiber arts, paper making, all different things. So Anne is an artist who lives in Georgetown, Kentucky, or nearby there. I'm close. These are her birds. I love these. They actually come apart. When she's dropped them off, they were in pieces, and they had the directions. It was like the IKEA birds. This is her piece called "How Can We Awaken the Global Heart?" It's actually suspended by guitar wire over some sand. Over here we have Judith Serling-Sturm, who I know from Book Arts as well. She incorporates a lot of natural materials into her work. Pam Cordy, who I've known since the 80s, is an artist who works in ceramics. There's some more of Judith's stuff. The thing at the bottom is a Jacob's Ladder, which is, you may have seen, the first time I ever saw one was when I was a kid at the Appalachian Festival with my mom, and you flip one side, and it goes clack, 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 clack all the way down with those little tapes holding it together. These are Amy Petrie Shaw, who is a Unitarian Universalist minister. Some of you might know her from St. John's. She was in Wisconsin, and now she's in West Des Moines. These are beautiful. This is on metal. It's very striking. It's you might have seen it on the postcard, but it's a couple feet by feet big, maybe 3 by 3. Pretty big. I love her color. This is on maybe acrylic or plexiglass. It's on the wall, so you can't see, but it is actually transparent, so translucent, I guess is the word. So if you hung it in a window, that would be really cool. Here are some more by Judith and Pam. I love this one. It's called Blossom Bowl, and it indeed is a blossom bowl. It looks like a morning glory. And over here we have got Jan Brown Checo. Her work is really inspired by my pre-Columbian work. She works a lot in clay, although she does a lot of different kinds of art. She lives in Clifton as well. And she also did this fountain, which is working.
And she sold a lot of stuff.
And these are Leo's. I've known Leo's shoes since I was in college, and he was in college a long time ago in Chicago. He's in Pittsburgh now. I was going to come down, but could not. These are, this is probably one of our favorites. It's called Rose of the Gem, Davenport Road, Garrison Creek. These are all from when he was living in near Toronto. That one's not for sale, unfortunately, but these other ones are. So stop by. There's my kids. There are many people here again. They're leaving. These are Carrie Ginn's work. Her work is so great. It just literally pops off the page onto the frame. And she uses a lot of glitter, which is great. And not just one kind of glitter. She uses all different kinds of glitter, sequins, anything shiny. She's on it. So cool. You can see all the different things here. This has got a lot of texture too. It's great. This is called Peekaboo Synapse Party. And it's pretty large also. It's very striking. So these are Carrie's book covers. I believe she said she took them on vacation with her and let everyone that she met, her friends, her family, do a little bit. Here's some more of them. So she's got all kinds of people out of the dab here and a piece of color there. All good. This is another of hers called Giggle Punch Landscape. Again, you can see all the different kinds of glitter, all the great shapes she's working on here. She lives in Kennedy Heights, I believe. Kennedy Heights or Pleasant Ridge. Up next is Cal Cullen. Cal started these 1/1/20. There's one for every day through to 11/20, which is about when we opened or had our drop-off date anyways. So I'll try to move back so you can see all of them together. It's kind of cool how they put them there. She runs the gallery in the old firehouse on Coleraine in Camp Washington. It's called the Wave Pool Gallery. These are by Bobby Thies, who is a very, very good friend of mine and my family's. She lives in Milford, and she told me once when we were doing plein air together, she said she doesn't know where to start. She draws the red. She paints the red first. So you can tell there's always a little bit of red in her work, even if it's not prominent. There's a little bit of red, and that's where she started. She also did these great books. One is called Moo, the Cowtastrophe. One is called The Chase, and I love The Chase because it's got her house on the front, which is a beautiful house. And these are her little plushies that go along with them. And she also made this rug, which is called a Raya rug. And it's a Scandinavian technique, and she's been making these for years and years. If you go to her house, she's got them on the walls. And this one's called 2 Winters because it took 2 winters for her to make it. These are smaller. I want to say they're about 6 by 6, also by Bobby. Atlantic Beach, Railroad Avenue, up, down. If you ever want to see more of her work, go to her website, which is like bobbyfeast.com or something. And also Milford, she's got stuff at the Row House Gallery, and usually any kind of art festival out at Prominent House, she's there. So we didn't have the readings, but here are books by Pauletta Hansel, who was one of my writers also that I interviewed for this series that I did, which I'll talk about in a minute. You can find her work all around town, online. She does a lot of conferences, a lot of shows. She was Cincinnati Poet Laureate a couple years ago. This is the monitor where you would see Eric Chatterjee and Christine Green's work. Eric's doing film, and Christine she's a writer in upstate New York. Eric is currently in Vermont, but he's from here. And this is Milk and Honey, issue 4. I've got 2 comics in it. If you want one, give me a shout out, or they're out of Wilmington, and I think they're milkandhoney.com, something like that. The landscape by Bobby also. And back to more by Judith. Judith has her own taxidermist, so if she needs a snake skin or whatever, she can get one. Pretty cool. She's the only person I know who's like, let me ask my taxidermist. Okay, these are also Judith's. They are her mezuzahs. They are doorpost. It means doorpost in Hebrew. It also refers to the covered scroll that is hung on the doorpost of a Jewish home. These one-of-a-kind mezuzahs are made with natural elements and found metals. All mezuzahs contain scrolls, or clefs, which have been scanned from other scrolls, from kosher scrolls, written by scribes onto handmade papers. They have been treated to withstand the elements. So you actually could put these outside, even though they look fragile. They are not. And here's one more of hers. This is really great. Looks like you can grow it in your yard. And these are mine. Top is Sunset in South Carolina, which is exactly that. I was in South Carolina. there was the sunset. And I've got these two ladies here and here. And this is probably my favorite. Rise and Shine. It's a chicken. I drew this at Gorman Farm with Bobby. We did plein air there together a couple years ago, and that's how that worked. So how this all started was Article 25 was a street newspaper here. Greg Flannery, who's in this picture here, was going to read tonight, but did not. But you can find his work all over. He worked for City Beat. He wrote for the Enquirer sometimes. He's well known around town, and he's also an activist. He's worked at the SOS show, and he's done readings there as well. So what happened was I was writing comics and writing articles, drawing things for him for that paper, and which we met during Street Vibes, and he started this afterward. There's Pauletta below him. And I was reading this book by Mason Curry, which is called Daily Rituals: How Artists Work. And I thought, what would happen if I asked my artist friends to volunteer, which they all did, these guys all did, when I put out the shout out. And I said, what if, I asked them these questions? What kinds of things, how do they work? Some of them work from home. They all do different things. Like I said, we've got ceramic artists, we've got writers, poets, people who are different things in their day jobs, such as a minister, which is quite time-consuming, right? Some of these things. So I just went ahead and I asked everybody different questions, and Greg published them in Article 25. So I'm really grateful to him to make this whole project start. It had a great ripple effect. Lots of people were in it. Also people who weren't here, like Teresa Robeson, who is in Indiana. She is a writer and artist there. She just came out with a great children's book last year. She was at Books by the Banks, if you were at that, selling that book, which is The Queen of Physics. And I would get it if I were you. Susan Emerson, also a local actor and singer. She was one of the interviews. And Charlie Gifts, who was also supposed to read tonight, who is a writer, actor, director, all those things. Great storyteller, really, really, really fun person. So all these people were supposed to be here, and some of them were, because we did the artist talks. We had a great opening, which was fun. But we are here. The gallery is open Friday, Saturday, 4 to 8, and it's here where the old post office used to be, off Ludlow. And thanks to everyone who was helping us with this, such as Tom Laurie, John Osterman and Paige, who came by earlier, Joyce, who's here now, everyone who helped unload, artists, friends, all the schleppers, everything. So